Welcome, dear viewers, to a world where darkness and mysticism meet in the creepiest forms. Here, in this abandoned corner of the internet, we will delve into the darkest corners of the human imagination. Prepare for awe-inspiring horror, as each of our stories is imbued with sinister secrets that lurk in the darkness of the night. Scary stories that remain beyond your imagination are waiting for you on our channel. Don't forget to turn on the lights, get comfortable and hold on tight, because now we are going into the world of nightmares. Are you ready for it? Then welcome to our scary story. The night was draped in an unsettling silence, as though the very essence of darkness clung to the old house perched atop the hill. It was known by locals as the Van Thorn Mansion, a place cloaked in legends and whispered tales of horror. The tales often spoke of its reclusive inhabitant, an enigmatic old woman named Lady Evelyn Van Thorn, whose age was a mystery in itself, her skin resembling the texture of ancient parchment, etched with the passage of countless years. As the full moon cast an eerie glow upon the mansion, the grand structure appeared both majestic and malevolent, its shadowy corners concealing secrets that had festered for generations. The Van Thorn Mansion had stood for centuries, and its history was a tapestry of strange occurrences and misfortunes. Few dared to venture near it, and those who did never returned quite the same. Local legends told of Lady Evelyn's peculiar habits, and none were more sinister than the rumors that whispered through the town. It was said that she had an insatiable thirst, one that went beyond the normal desires of mortal beings. She had an appetite for something more sinister, something that chilled the spine of anyone who heard the tales. The townsfolk whispered that Lady Evelyn Van Thorn fed on the blood of young maidens who were unfortunate enough to cross her path. Yet, despite the chilling reputation of the mansion and its mistress, there was always a constant stream of young women eager to serve as her maids. Some believed that the stories were nothing but malicious gossip, while others thought that the generous salary offered was too tempting to resist. And so, the cycle continued, with one generation of girls replacing the next in the service of Lady Evelyn. In the heart of the town, a small boarding house named Willowbrook provided shelter to a group of young women who had arrived seeking employment. Among them were Anna, a gentle and timid soul with dreams of a better life; Clara, a spirited and curious young woman with a penchant for adventure; and Emily, a practical and level-headed girl who always approached life with caution. One chilly autumn morning, an ornate envelope, sealed with dark red wax and bearing the Van Thorn family crest, arrived at Willowbrook. The boarding house's landlady, Mrs. Henderson, entered the common room with the envelope in her hand, her expression a mixture of curiosity and concern. "Ladies, this letter just arrived," she announced, her voice tinged with unease. "It's an invitation to serve as maids at the Van Thorn Mansion." The three young women exchanged puzzled glances, their apprehension growing as Mrs. Henderson continued. "It's a generous offer, I must admit," she said. "But you've heard the rumors about that place, haven't you? The Van Thorn Mansion is a nest of darkness, they say, and Lady Evelyn is peculiar, to say the least." Anna, her eyes wide with a glimmer of hope, was the first to speak. "But Mrs. Henderson, it could be our chance to escape the drudgery of this town, to find better opportunities. We can't let rumors hold us back." Clara's adventurous spirit got the better of her. "I've always been one for a good mystery. What harm could it do to go and see for ourselves?" Emily, the voice of reason among them, chimed in. "We'll need to be cautious, that's for sure. If we do decide to go, we must be prepared for whatever we might find." With a collective decision, they decided to accept the invitation. Their excitement mixed with trepidation as they made their preparations, never truly comprehending the darkness that awaited them within the walls of the Van Thorn Mansion. Little did they know that their journey would plunge them into a world of shadows, where the line between reality and nightmare blurred, and where the whispered legends would become their terrifying reality. Within the enigmatic walls of the Van Thorn Mansion, the air grew heavy with an unsettling presence, like a foreboding storm lurking on the horizon. The young maids, Anna, Clara, and Emily, began to sense an inexplicable disquiet, as if the very house was alive and watching their every move. The mansion's grandeur was overshadowed by a palpable sense of dread that seemed to seep from its very foundations. Shadows danced ominously in the corners of their vision, and whispers seemed to echo through its dimly lit halls, yet no source could be discerned. The crackling of the fireplace and the creaking of floorboards beneath their hesitant steps only added to the eerie atmosphere. Anna, always the most sensitive of the trio, was the first to notice the unsettling occurrences. One evening, as she ascended the grand staircase to her room, she caught sight of a fleeting shadow darting across the hallway, its form elusive and ghostly. A chill ran down her spine, and she dismissed it as a trick of the dim lighting or perhaps her own imagination playing tricks on her. Days turned into weeks, and the whispers grew louder, resembling hushed conversations of many unseen presences. Clara started hearing faint murmurs from behind the walls, soft and indistinct, yet deeply unsettling. She would stand still, straining her ears to catch the words, but they always seemed to dissipate like smoke, leaving her unnerved and anxious. Emily, the pragmatic one, began to find inexplicable marks on the household items she was tasked with cleaning. Strange symbols, etched into the wooden furniture with an almost supernatural precision, seemed to appear overnight. She kept her findings to herself, afraid to instigate panic among her fellow maids. Lady Evelyn's behavior became increasingly peculiar. She would lock herself in her chambers for days, emerging only at odd hours, her countenance twisted in a mix of rage and frenzy. The maids observed her unsettling habits, her long, solitary walks in the moonlit garden, her manic laughter that echoed through the hallways, and her insistence on keeping certain rooms strictly off limits. One night, as the full moon cast an ethereal glow over the mansion, Clara decided to venture into one of the forbidden rooms, driven by a mix of curiosity and fear. The door creaked open, revealing a chamber enveloped in darkness. She fumbled for a candle and lit it, revealing a room shrouded in secrets. She gasped at the sight of arcane symbols etched into the walls, the same as the ones Emily had discovered. Strange artifacts and eldritch books lined the shelves, hinting at a knowledge far beyond the realm of ordinary understanding. It was a chilling revelation that shook Clara to her core. Days turned into nights filled with tormenting whispers and fleeting shadows, and the maids' initial enthusiasm for their new positions waned. Fear crept into their hearts as they realized they were trapped in a house that held more horror than they had ever imagined. They gathered in hushed whispers, sharing their mounting suspicions and the eerie events that had unfolded. Anna, Clara, and Emily knew they had to confront Lady Evelyn and unravel the mysteries of the mansion. The shadows grew darker, the whispers louder, and hope seemed to slip further away. Little did they know that the true horror was yet to reveal itself, and their lives would soon descend into a nightmare from which there might be no escape. The mansion's corridors seemed to twist and contort, the walls closing in on the maids as they delved deeper into the secrets it held. Anna, Clara, and Emily were no longer mere servants. They were now seekers of truth within a realm tainted by darkness. The trio began to systematically explore the mansion, their hearts gripped by a mix of fear and determination. They uncovered hidden rooms filled with forbidden knowledge, dark rituals, and grotesque symbols etched into the very fabric of the house. It became evident that Lady Evelyn was no ordinary woman. She was a vessel for something far more sinister, a being that defied the laws of humanity. In a hidden chamber beneath the mansion, the maids discovered a trove of malevolent artifacts and grimoires, hinting at Lady Evelyn's descent into the abyss of the occult. The walls of the chamber bore inscriptions in an ancient language, beckoning a power so dark and incomprehensible that it sent shivers down their spines. Meanwhile, Lady Evelyn's behavior escalated into a frenzy of madness. She roamed the mansion, her eyes glazed with a fanatical zeal, muttering incantations in an ominous tongue. Her very presence seemed to distort reality, warping the fabric of the house and plunging it into a nightmarish realm. On one fateful night, as the moon hung low in the sky, the maids were drawn to an otherworldly chanting that echoed through the hallways. They followed the eerie sounds, eventually reaching the heart of the mansion, the grand ballroom where Lady Evelyn stood at the center of a dark ritual. Twisted shadows danced around her, her figure contorted in a grotesque ballet. With a sudden realization, the maids understood the extent of the horror that had befallen them. Lady Evelyn was no longer human. She had become a conduit for an ancient, malevolent entity seeking to break free from its ethereal shackles. Anna, Clara, and Emily knew they had to act swiftly. They had gathered enough knowledge to understand that the only way to sever the entity's hold on the mansion was to confront it directly. Armed with artifacts they had found during their explorations, they stood before Lady Evelyn, who had now transformed into a grotesque, monstrous form. A harrowing battle ensued, the grand ballroom becoming a battlefield between good and unutterable evil. Spells were cast, artifacts wielded, and courage summoned from the depths of their souls. They fought with the desperation of those whose survival depended on their triumph. Yet, as the confrontation reached its peak, it became clear that victory would come at a great cost. Emily was injured, her strength waning. Clara fought valiantly, but the entity's power was overwhelming. Anna, driven by a primal determination, gathered the last remnants of her energy and unleashed a final blow upon the monstrosity. The mansion quaked, as if releasing the oppressive tension that had gripped it for so long. The entity let out a deafening shriek, dissipating into a maelstrom of darkness. With its defeat, Lady Evelyn's contorted form crumpled to the floor, lifeless once more. The mansion began to disintegrate, its foundations crumbling as if relieved from an ancient curse. The maids, battered but alive, escaped the collapsing mansion just in time, witnessing its descent into ruin. The nightmare was over. As the dawn broke, Anna, Clara, and Emily stood amidst the remnants of the Vanthorne mansion, knowing that they had faced true evil and emerged victorious. They vowed to carry the memories of that night, a testament to the courage that had dwelled within them. The horrors they faced had changed them forever, but they now looked to the future with newfound strength and a deeper understanding of the fragility of reality and the resilience of the human spirit. The truth of the Vanthorne mansion was a tapestry woven in darkness, and as the final act of this horrifying tale unraveled, the maids stood at the center of its grim revelation. They had traversed through the abyss, and now they were faced with the grotesque reality that was Lady Evelyn Vanthorne. In the flickering light of dawn, they gathered around a tattered journal that Clara had found in the ruins of the mansion. Its pages were filled with Lady Evelyn's disturbing confessions. She chronicled her insatiable thirst for blood, her pact with an ancient entity, and the sacrificial ritual she performed to sustain her unearthly existence. The truth was, as chilling as it was abhorrent, Lady Evelyn had been consuming the blood of her own maids to prolong her life. The knowledge sent shivers down their spines, and a potent mix of anger and sorrow surged through them. They had been unwittingly lured into this den of horror, serving a mistress whose hunger for life transcended the bounds of humanity. Determined to put an end to this malevolence, they ventured into the remnants of the mansion, guided by a resolve born of desperation and the will to survive. The ruins were steeped in an airy silence, broken only by the distant echoes of their footsteps. In the depths of the decaying mansion, they found Lady Evelyn, her figure a grotesque parody of her former self. Her eyes gleamed with a malevolent light, and her voice dripped with venom as she taunted them. "You pitiful creatures," she spat, her laughter tinged with madness. "You think you can defy the inevitable? I have survived centuries, and you will not be the ones to end me." The battle that ensued was a symphony of chaos and dread. Spells were cast, artifacts wielded, and sheer will clashed with unspeakable power. Lady Evelyn fought ferociously, unleashing the full extent of her malevolent abilities. It was a struggle for survival, and the stakes could not have been higher. As the battle reached its climax, Emily, her strength waning but her spirit unbroken, seized an opportunity. With an artifact of ancient power, she struck a decisive blow, severing the connection between Lady Evelyn and the entity that had granted her immortality. The air crackled with energy, and Lady Evelyn let out an agonized shriek as her form contorted and withered, her life force draining away. In the moments before her demise, Lady Evelyn's true face emerged, a visage twisted by centuries of darkness and horror. Her last words were a lament for the life she had lost, a tragic reminder of the depths to which one could fall in pursuit of immortality. The mansion, once a sanctuary of unspeakable evil, began to collapse upon itself, burying the secrets and horrors within its crumbling walls. The maids staggered out into the light, their bodies battered and their souls scarred. It was over. The nightmare had come to an end, but victory had come at a great cost. They had survived, but the scars would linger, a constant reminder of the darkness they had faced. The Vanthorne mansion was reduced to rubble, and the town could finally rest, free from the looming shadow of the cursed estate. Anna, Clara, and Emily left that accursed place, carrying with them the weight of the horrors they had endured. They vowed to cherish the gift of life, forever mindful of the fragility of humanity and the price one might pay to defy its natural course. The tale of the Van Thorn mansion would pass into local legend, a cautionary tale to those who dared to tempt the boundaries of life and death.